very, very exciting.
Change in bowling. The leg spinner Philippe Boissevin will just bowl one over in the power play, it looks like. So we'll go to Brandon Glover for the Dutch. And as you can see, immediately, arguably a yard quicker than Klaassen at the other end.
No doubt about that. And again, a good length, bowling it into the pitch was what you've got to do. We said this about Schneider the first day. 3 deliveries like that, bang on off stump, back of a length, caused trouble for the batsman. Then went slower ball bouncer, whacked for 6, suddenly scratching his head. I just wonder sometimes in these situations, why can't you just keep that level of consistency as best you can in around off stump, cramping up the batsman from a good length.
Onto the legs of O'Brien, and that's a dangerous tactic, but O'Brien can't find the middle of the bat. Going to be signalled leg boys. You can see O'Brien whips the bat in frustration, really disappointed to not hammer that one away. Yeah, Brandon Glover, a graduate of St. Cythian's College, where the likes of Kagiso Rabada have been born in Johannesburg, did make his List A debut for bowling, but with a Dutch passport, he's come into this Dutch side, and you can see why he has.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, and of course Ireland have a very good relationship with St. Cythian's College. Many young players have gone to St. Cythian's under the Breen O'Rourke South African exchange program, and of course we've had many boys from St. Cythian's with us.
Full hit pleasingly by Gareth Delaney, but he can't get it past mid-off. It's going to be a dot ball. Yeah, that exchange program brings young cricketers from Ireland down to St. Cythian's College in Johannesburg, and then there's a reverse that the South African kids come up for the summer. Really good program.
Well, it's a fantastic program, and again, it's the sort of thing with some of the Irish players that have gone there, you can clearly see their improvement. They're in the nets. The facilities in St. Cythian's are outstanding. And again, from just a people point of view, many of those boys come over to Ireland and really engage and enjoy our culture and our cricketing culture.
Down the leg side this time from Glover. Not a huge amount of movement. That one's going to be signalled wide, but he really is going through the gears. You can see that he has a touch of pace and a touch of class to him. Played a couple of games for Northants seconds this summer. The county's constantly looking at Scottish and Dutch players to get them in on the radar.
Yes, absolutely, and of course that's something Ireland enjoyed for many years before Test status, but you know, again, as part of Ireland's involvement as a Test nation, these sorts of things take time and lots of very positive developments.
Short ball pulled into the deep. There's a man out there. What a catch that is. Delaney can't believe he's picked him out. That's going to be a wicket for Glover. You'd have to say he deserves that. He's bowled with good pace, good aggression, and he's tempted Gareth Delaney into the trap. Caught it deep square leg.
Well, again, it's one of those ones. Gareth Delaney got into a very good position to hit that. You'd have to count it a little bit unlucky, but again, a very good catch in the deep. I can't quite see who that is, Andrew, who's actually caught that, but Delaney will feel a little bit aggrieved by that because he did get in a very good position to hit that.
Yeah, Delaney falls for 12 off 9 deliveries. And he'll be frustrated because if that's gone 5 yards either side of the deep square leg fielder, that would have been probably not just 4, it probably would have been 6.
Well, it's a killer as a batter sometimes in those, and it's interesting as well. When you're bowling the ball into the pitch and you induce batsmen into cross-batted shots, it's the sort of thing you're never in as much control as when you're hitting down the ground full, and that's, you can also look at this from the Dutch point of view, positive. They bowled to a plan which is clearly something they didn't do against Scotland, and I am impressed. This chap Glover, he has fundamentals of a very strong sound action, and he started very well.
Shane Snyder it was who took the catch out at deep square leg, and what a good catch it was. He made it look easy, and that by no means was an easy catch. He had to make good ground to his right. He ran 4 or 5 yards to his right, pouched the catch right around the waist level. I think that would have gone all the way for 6. So really good start this from the Dutch. They look a different side to the one they did just 2 days ago. And Brandon Glover is building up a head of steam from the Malahide Castle end. Looks for the Yorker to start, but Balbirnie clips that into the leg side. What a stop though. I think that's the Dutch captain, Peter Seelar. And the Dutch are abuzz already.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, and I'm sure that's something Ryan Campbell was saying in the change room. Today is another day. Come on, fellas. We're a lot better than we showed in that game against Scotland, and let's show it today. And they've started very, very well. As you say, a buzz in the field, Andrew. Great stop by Baz. Delayed it there. An extra cover. Selar's the captain, showing example.
Beautifully bowled. That's really good cricket from Brandon Glover. Has Balbirnie in the hop. He can keep it out, but no more. End of the third over. Ireland 24 for 1. I want to bring one to your attention, Alan. I know you're a big Twitter man, and the Dutch captain this morning, Peter Seeler, just 2 hours ago, tweeted, "Bounce back game day. I have a little apple to peel against Ireland cricket!" exclamation mark. What does that mean?
I'm not quite sure that is to mean whether there's a bit of animosity between the two teams. Maybe you know something I don't know, Andrew, but again, that's the type of message that probably he wanted to put out to his troops, and they've responded. Brandon Glover there, very good first over, collecting the wicket of Delaney up, but only conceding 1 run in the process, and looks very impressive.
Yeah, perhaps Peter Seeler going to the Eric Cantona School of Philosophy and getting his message out to his troops. He went on to say that if they can get a win, they'll throw the tournament right open, and he's right about that, because it would make that points table, it would give that points table a very interesting look. So it's going to be a change in bowling from the Dublin Road end. Shane Snader, who was the star with the ball for the Dutch in their first game of the series, he took 3 wickets. He'll come into the attack now. Kevin O'Brien hits that behind square on the leg side. That's a really good shot, just angling in from Snader, clipped off his hips, and that's going to be 4 runs.
Well, the other thing there, if we remember yesterday, Kevin O'Brien was caught at short fine leg by Tahir, but he knew exactly what he was doing there. Obviously, deep square leg is that little bit behind square, fine leg in on the edge of the circle, but that's very skillful batting from Kevin O'Brien. Knew exactly what he was doing with his placement there, and of course, you can see here the very open stance, tends to clear that left leg. He'll move in, as you see.
Hit down the ground. There is a man at long on. Is it going to go down his throat? And it's not. He's going to tip it over the bar, Ben Cooper. I think he came in a couple of yards too far, and it's ending up going all the way for 6. What a moment that is, Alan.
Well, you can call it a moment, but the Dutch will be very disappointed. Right in front of their team there. Should have easily have caught that. He had lots of room to go back. Never found his judgment of where he was. Big, tall man, Ben Cooper. And Snader will be very disappointed with that, because Kevin O'Brien knew he was in trouble.
It was a one-handed shot. The bottom hand came off the bat, but he still found the timing to get it all the way for 6. Snader shorter this time. O'Brien looking to pull that one in front of square. Makes no contact.
Well, the interesting thing, he's a bit early on those pulls, Kevin O'Brien. Ball really not coming onto the bat, the short ball. You've got to wait that little bit longer, like Gareth Delaney when he hit that 6 earlier on off Klassen. The pitch does look that little bit slower today, understandably, but it's up to Ireland to assess it.
Short ball, he's got all of that, Kevin O'Brien. It's going to fly all the way for 6, I think. Yeah, it's cleared the rope over the boundary boards, bounces into the stands, and I'm not sure why Snader's trying to go short to O'Brien here.
Well, Snader surprised me again in the opening game. No need for that type of delivery. Why wouldn't you be looking at what Brandon Glover did in the previous over? Every ball back of a length, on target, on the money. No need for that in the early stages. Bowl the ball into the pitch. That's meat and drink to Kevin O'Brien.
Looks for the Yorker this time, but O'Brien loves the leg side, and that's going to be 4 more. What an over this is turning out to be for Ireland's perspective. 20 runs coming from it already, Alan.
Well, you see, that's what happens. The mind scrambles, and now this one Fuller onto leg stump. Meat and drink to Kevin O'Brien, eased away for 4. Fantastic shot as O'Brien moves to 28 from 13 deliveries. And this, as we know, is how destructive he can be, and fantastic to see him at the top of the order, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely, Alan. And how exciting from a Irish fans' viewpoint is it to see Kevin O'Brien going into the T20 World Cup qualifier next month in such brilliant form. I was talking to you yesterday about the fact that he dominated the inter-squad games. He's the oldest man in the squad now, Kevin O'Brien, entering the veteran stages of his career, 35 years of age.
Please don't use that word, Lenny. It's when you're at your prime, my friend. You just keep yourself in shape. These are professional athletes now. Your careers can go on that bit longer, particularly as a batter.
Short ball, but probably too short, and we see the square leg umpire indicating to Rizwan Akram that is too short. Wide will be signalled. Snater, after such an impressive spell just 2 days ago, has gone to pieces in his first over.
Yeah, disappointing, and I'm sure Salar will be disappointed. He's over to him now. issuing instructions. I'm sure he's disappointed with this because they had Ireland in a bit of a sting there, and it just shows you again, Andrew, in the space of 3 or 4 balls, how this game of T20 cricket can change.
Slower ball. He's onto the legs and a misfield from Philip Boissevin. So O'Brien crucially will keep the strike. 22 runs coming from the over. Ireland 46 for 1 after 4. What an over from Ireland's perspective, and Kevin O'Brien, 22 runs coming from it. Just had a message through. We were talking about the Dutch captain's tweet saying that he had a little apple to peel with the Irish cricket team, and Bertus de Jong, who is one of the finest Dutch cricket journalists, has told me it's a Dutch expression that roughly translates to they have a bone to pick.
Ah, that's a bit better. Thank you, Mr. de Jong, for that little piece of information. Dutch has always different ways of thinking about things.
Brandon Glover to continue. He's going to continue with the short stuff as well. O'Brien pulls that into the deep, just going to be a single. And the throw comes in from Sneijder. A bit of anger in that throw, making O'Brien run that single.
Well, we do know Kevy likes to dawdle one. And quite right from Sneijder, keeping him on his toes. So a good start, as you say, Andrew, from Ireland. They'll be pleased with this. 47 now, into the 5th.
Nicely bowled by Glover again. He's really impressing in his first appearance in the GS Holding T20I Tri-Series. He's got a good strong action, almost a touch reminiscent of someone like Dale Steyn.
Yeah, pretty like Dale Steyn, but it's everything, the fundamentals of it are very strong. He has a, unlike Klassen, who's struggled for rhythm, he looks to have a very good rhythm, Andrew. Gets to the crease, accelerates, get into a good bound position, and there's not much that can go wrong with this action.
Looks for the Yorker, but just strays down the leg side. Good pace. I'd argue this might be the quickest bowler we've seen on show this week, Alan.
Yeah, you could argue that. I think probably we all know David Delaney, who of course made his debut for Ireland yesterday, has been clocked at close enough to 90 miles an hour. Certainly that wasn't there yesterday, but the young man did well. And again, it's clear to see that Glover is that step ahead of anyone else in terms of pace.
Glover will be in the Dutch T20 World Cup qualifier squad next month. Just starting to show what he can do. O'Brien hits that to mid-off, and he's got a second wicket, Glover. It was right into the slot. O'Brien looked to get the elevation over the offside, but he couldn't clear the man at mid-off, who takes a comfortable catch, and O'Brien's got to go for 30 off 16 deliveries.
Yeah, having taken a step to leg, he just couldn't, as you say, Andrew, get the elevation. A little bit like Kutsia yesterday, if you remember. Just couldn't get that elevation and caught a bit off, and he'll be disappointed with that. But it's been a good innings, 30 from 15 deliveries, and it's bringing Harry Tector to the crease.
I'll get it confirmed for you, but I think that was Ben Cooper who took the catch. Who's the man who dropped him long on. So redemption for Cooper. Well, this is outstanding from Glover. Probably the bowling spell of the tournament so far.
I would agree with that. Andrew, he's bowled very, very well here with pace. Bowled the ball into the pitch in good areas. And he's done a great job for his captain and his team.
Yeah, he's halfway through his second over, and he's got 2 for 4. And with the average scores over 200 in the 2 games we've seen so far this week, that's exceptional stuff. So Harry Tector will join Andrew Balbirnie in just his second T20I. And tell us about the Tectors. They're a cricketing family.
They certainly are. They've played cricket from a very early age, and Harry here from the age of 9 under the tutelage, of course, of the great Kamal Merchant down in YM, grounded him.
Beautifully bowled, beats him for pace. This is the quickest spell of the week that we're watching right now. And good captaincy as well. It wasn't Ben Cooper who took the catch. In fact, it was Ben Cooper who took the catch. We thought it might have been the Dutch captain, but Tony Styles being brought into slip. So Ben Cooper did get his redemption, but that was too quick for Harry Tector that time.
Yeah, it's one of the things I think, again, when we talk, obviously, we've been in the club together for many years. We talk about aggressively defending. Just caught in the crease there, Harry Tector.
Nicely played by Tector, but no run there. You can just sense the Dutch are a buzz. They really are. It looks a completely different outfit to the one we saw 2 days ago.
Well, I think the other side of things, Andrew, with Ireland on 49, coming to the end of the 5th over, there's no need for panic. They're in decent shape, because I think the one thing any of these, and again, indeed, speaking to Ryan Campbell, I had the pleasure of talking to him, biggest thing that you do is you keep your wickets in hand. It's easy to keep going. So if Ireland can advance to something around 57, 58 off their 6 overs with a loss of no further wickets, that's key.
Pulled into the deep. That's a really good shot in front of square on the leg side by Harry Tector. It's going to race away for 4. The first boundary coming off Glover. That's a beautiful shot, Alan Lewis.
Well, that's a great shot from Harry Tector. He just waited on that and helped it on its way. And again, another one of the things I'll talk about here. Why hit the ball to the side with 6 fielders? Hit it to the side with 3, and he did that fantastically well, Harry Tector. Off the mark with an excellent boundary.
5 overs gone. Ireland 53 for 2. We've had a really entertaining start. And myself and Alan will pass over now to John Kenny, who'll be joined by Garfield Harrison.
Thanks, lads. Yeah, lively start, all right. Ireland losing their openers. Kevin O'Brien gone for 30. Gareth Delaney, who scored a half-century yesterday, gone for 12. Glover with both wickets, and as the lads were alluding to, Garfield, probably the fastest we've seen so far in terms of pace from Glover. He's bowled very well.
Yeah, very lively, actually, John. He does, you know, Alan said he maybe reminds him of a wee bit of Dale Steyn. I see a wee bit of, you know, Dale Steyn in him as well. He definitely has a strong action, gets the ball through, yes, and definitely the quickest bowler so far on view over these last few days. But I'd say both teams are maybe reasonably happy with where they are. You know, it's 10 and over. You know, 5 overs gone. Still the last over of the power play. This will be a big over for Ireland.
Yeah, Class is going to bowl this now from the Dublin Road end. To Andy Balbirnie. Pushes that into the covers for a single. Balbirnie looked imperious yesterday. Scored some 64 runs before he was caught in ball by Berrington. He cut a disappointed figure actually yesterday, and interviewing him afterwards said that he was really disappointed the fact that he got 64 while there was runs to be got. He thought, I should still be there. Getting out caught and bowled, but Balbirnie cemented his place at number 3 in this Irish squad. O'Brien gone, Delaney gone. Harry Tector, who made his debut yesterday, has joined him in the middle. Now facing.
Yes, good run there. I think Andrew Balbirnie yesterday, you know, the game was at the stage where, you know, he could take the team home, and I think maybe, you know, that would have been disappointing him, the fact that he's got out at that stage where he could have taken the team home and got us not out, and, you know, certainly was the best batter on show for me yesterday.
Yeah, Ireland lost some late wickets. Might be a little bit of a concern, but it was a very good win over Scotland yesterday by 4 wickets. Some 14 balls to spare, and that's just flipped away nonchalantly for 4 around his shoulder by Balbirnie off the bowling of Klassen, and 4 to the Irish total.
It's not
flippant, isn't it?
It's not a great piece of bowling there, because, you know, he's dropped it short. He's bowled it sort of at his body, and it's easy just to help that on. You know, the fielder that is out in the boundary is very square, and he's able to flick that behind square for a comfortable 4.
Klass has been expensive, and his captain, Peter Saylor, who lost the toss today, Ireland winning the toss and deciding to bat. Come over, just had a quick word in his ear. Was a gimme for a man of Balbirnie's class. 59 for 2. That's better. And a dot ball, and they're going to run through because the throw at the stumps hits the stumps, and they might even fancy 2. Here comes O'Dowd. That's just a gimme for Ireland's point of view. Shy at the stumps, clicked the stumps, ran away, and Ireland picked up 2 runs when they shouldn't.
If you're the bowler there, you're going bananas. You know, Obviously, it looked like a dot ball all day long, and the fielder here has tried to get the non-striker back into his crease. It's just clipped the stumps. Very frustrating for the bowler.
Such is the way he's feeling in the world cricket these days. It's no surprise he's being shy at the stumps. The old days of calling and saying put that in your pocket may seem to be over.
Yeah, and what's interesting here for me is Klassen's coming round the wicket, so he's bowling into the body, which is a good idea in some sense, in that you're not able to swing your arms through the ball, and it's cramping you up for style. But you would imagine most of the runs will come on the leg side because of the angle of him coming round the wicket. It'll be interesting to see how the Irish guys handle this over the next couple of overs.
Balbirnie on 8. Harry Tector has joined them in the middle after the fall of wicket at 49. They moved it on to 61 now. Shy the stumps again, but Balbirnie home easily, and good backup this time.
Yeah, good fielding there from Klassen off his own bowling, putting them under a bit of pressure.
End of 6. Ireland 62 for 2. .62 for 2 at the end of the power play. You were only allowed 2 fielders outside the inner circle during those 6 overs. And Ireland have advanced now to 62 for 2. Kevin O'Brien gone for 30. Gareth Delaney, who scored a half century yesterday, made 12 today. Both of the wickets falling to Brandon Glover, who steamed in from the Malahide Road end. We're going to have a change of bowling now from that end. It's going to be Philip Boissevin from who's a right arm leg spinner, playing in his 4th T20 international, one of 2 changes today that the Dutch have made from the big defeat to Scotland, and he's going to be bowling from the Malahide Castle End. Immediately pushed through the covers. Balbirnie, no doubt, is down there and just pick up single.
Yeah, a wee bit of a misfield there, but it's only cost a single, so bowler will not be too disappointed with that. But I think the Dutch here will be reasonably happy with this start. Power play is over, 60 runs on the board, 2 wickets back in the hutch, the 2 openers. So I would say, the Dutch will be fairly happy with the way things have gone so far.
Boissevin will be in the Dutch squad for the T20 World Cup qualifier tournament in the UAE. That's starting next month, and this tournament really seen as a build-up to those qualifiers. 6 will go through to the finals itself, and Scotland and the Netherlands, both playing here in the Tri-Series, will face each other in Group A. Ireland in Group B. That's well stopped. An extra cover.
Yes, Boissevin will be a lot happier now with those 3 balls. His first over was a little nervous. I think he was feeling a bit tight with the nerves, and the first 3 balls landing halfway down the pitch, but this is much better. What a shot.
Away by Balbirnie for the maximum, down on one leg, down towards the tree in the far corner, down to the cow corner indeed, and that's the maximum, and it's a beautiful shot from Andy Balbirnie, continuing on from where he left off yesterday.
That, for me, is the shot of the day so far, John. Wee bit of width outside the off stump allows him to free his arms down on one knee, and he's hit that right out the screws, right out of the ground. Fantastic shot from Andrew Balbirnie.
Boissevin, just 18 years of age, and he's done him again in the same place. It's even got even further. And was that caught in the crowd? I think it may have been. Well, it's not a replay. It's 2 back-to-back 6s in the same place down the cow corner.
Who would want to be a bowler, John, these days with shots like that? I mean, nothing much wrong with that delivery. Again, he's just followed the previous delivery and down on one knee and slug sweep right out of the ground.
Well, he certainly has accelerated the Irish score. 76 for 2 now. Just be the one.
Yeah, he'd be happy with just the one there. And again, a wee bit of a misfield. The Dutch certainly do look a lot more energetic today than they did on Monday. And it's good to see that. And I'm sure they'll be stung after, that defeat. And they've had a couple of days now to think about it and work on a few better plans. And definitely a lot bigger improvement today.
Well, Bossavane got the treatment there. A couple of sixes. And he's gone for 20 in his 2 overs after a pretty good start. But Balbirnie, class that he is, 23 off just 13 deliveries. Tector and is playing the anchor role at the moment. At the other end, 6 from 5. Ireland 72 for 2 off 7 overs, having lost O'Brien and Gareth Delaney.
Yeah, still going, John, at 10 and over, which is quite remarkable at this stage. And it'll be interesting to see what Ireland think a par score is here today.
That's a good stop by Snyder out there. They're going to run through for 2, though. He gets the ball in quickly. He's got a good arm, but also that's good running from Balbirnie.
Yes, I was talking to Gary Wilson there before the game and was asking him about, par score from yesterday, and he was reckoning 190, 200.
Peter Seeler is on to bowl, the Dutch captain.